Salakia, Satan cut my video off again. I've got to redo it. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of thy body. Shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. Okay. And double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of thy body. And once again, shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households. All right. Okay. One of the prophets brought the news out yesterday that, there was news of an individual, a Moabite, I believe, or someone from that part of the world that, forgot the password to the chip in his hand. And here's a news story. Okay. Now, with anything new that's coming out, technology-wise, a lot of people will give up their freedoms for the advancement in technology and safety, okay? And a lot of people are going to do that, especially, they're pushing the digital wallet simultaneously while Elon Musk's trials with a Neuralink have been successful. And in the UK as well as America, okay, and other parts of the world like Sweden and other countries as well like China, okay, that are really pushing the CHIP. And to push a balanced picture, okay, because in anything, you got to push a balanced picture. Everything can't be hunky-dory and perfect. So there's something called reverse psychology, which they're going to push indirectly push a certain tool or a technology by using the process of reverse psychology. Okay. Now let's go to what the definition of reverse psychology would be. Definition of reverse psychology. Okay, reverse psychology is the practice or the principle or practice of subtly encouraging a behavior or belief by advocating its opposite. Okay, you're advocating its opposite. All right, you're advocating its opposite. And so what they're doing is they're showing you all the flaws, or some of the flaws within this technology. Because this person, I believe, is a magician, and he utilized it. It's kind of like a term called biohacking, and a lot of people do it, whether they're magicians or they're Satanists or whatever they are, because they look like kind of weird anyway, right? If you look at, because I made a video on biohackers a week or so ago, right? And they're just doing things in terms of trial and error and trying to get with the program of the future. Okay, these hipster types, these weirdo types, right? Okay, so they're going to use the process of reverse psychology. Like if you go back 70, 80 years ago and you said to someone, oh yeah, you're going to be paying by cards, by debit cards and credit cards, at a certain point in time, they'll say, you're crazy, with a card? How would you pay with a card? What's going to happen to money? They'll be questioning that. Then lo and behold, many years later, as those people turn older, they're paying with a card, Some people were wary of it initially, then they started using it, then they got used to it, then then they find it easier, okay, because the money's insured. If there's some kind of issue, you can get your money back to the bank. Otherwise, if you take out cash and you lose the cash, that's not insured. So people started going more with what? The program, what the government and the powers that be wanted. Okay, and the main thing is your money is you can easily keep track of your money. You can stay on top of things, and even if you forget about a few quid that you spent, you can always see on your statement sheet online or in physical, it's mainly online these days, what you spent. Okay. So there's going to always be positives and there's always going to be negatives, but it's like the Tesla car. People still drive the Tesla car, right? People still push it. That is such a nice car, or self-driving. So if you're drunk, you can, go to the bar and get drunk and sit in the back of the car. You can be driven home. All these kind of things that people talk about, it's self-driving. But then this car, some of them have been imploding or exploding and driving away and taking the person along with them and crashing into areas and, and deleting the person at the same time. Okay. So there's a lot of flaws in the Tesla, but people are still buying it. The same with the chip. Okay. The main thing is that they're pushing that vibration of the talk of it constantly, constantly, constantly. And it's becoming very, very normal to people. Okay. To the point where, um, people will say, you know what? There's going to be so much talk of it, so much talk of it. Some people will be doing it on their own accord. You'll have family members, the odd family member that might get it done. And then the vibration will say, oh, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. Oh, I can think faster. I can, come up with it. If this, I can always think ahead, because my brain is working faster. What if they get the Neuralink, whatever, or I can run faster, or, I couldn't walk before. Now I can walk again, or whatever it is, protecting their children when the financial infrastructure crashes to pay for goods and services, whatever it will be at that time, people will take it. Okay? People will take it, regardless of the flaws, because at the end of the day, other people don't know, because the elect know that we have a world coming after this world falls. Second Ezra's 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Our world is coming. So we know, the hopeful elect know not to take it. Okay, because whether you take it or you don't take it, if you take it and you think you're okay for a bit, the Lord going to kill you in more of a gruesome way. All right, okay, especially if you're a Jake, you know what time it is. But the unelect, the 2/3, the Lord don't care about them on this side. Okay, and the heathen, the Lord don't care about them. Period. All right, so they can take it. But for you elect, you're not going to take it because you're covered with the wings of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. Okay, Romans 11 verse 7. The election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Right. Okay. Let's go to the story. Oh, that's his name. Z Teng Wang, right? But the elect are not going to take it. You know what? I've got someone narrating the situation, so I'm gonna 1 second. Let me go to that news segment. Share this tab instead. Okay, Matthew 24 verse 24. For there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. If you're part of the elect, you're not going to fall out. There's no such thing as, oh, you are part of the elect and the Lord going to spew you out or kick you out. That's not going to happen. All right? That's not going to happen. The ones that were, even if they were in the truth, they had the most beautiful beard and nice head of hair and the garments and all that, and they were wearing fringes and all that, and the Lord kicked them out. It's because the Lord used them for a specific purpose for a short period of time and then got rid of them. They weren't part of that, the elect. All right? The elect will not be deceived. Everybody else will, but the elect are covered with the Halbashim Mashai's wings. Okay? And these are kind of Elon Musk is like a prophet. All right? Wasn't who's that other Edomite that got deleted, man? Charlie, what's his name? Captain Kirk. He was a prophet. All right? And they're false prophets. False Hamashiachs. That Edomite in Russia, they're walking around thinking he sees a Bourget. All right? They're showing great signs and wonders. Elon Musk is showing great signs and wonders. These other scientists that kind of like prophets for the technological world, they're showing great signs and wonders. All right, but they're deceiving the rest of the world. Okay, but even some of the normal sort of common heathenistic world still know what the mark is. All right, so what's wrong with the rest of you other camps that don't know what the mark is? The charagma, right? Okay, so the elect are not going to get deceived, but the rest of you will. All right. Let's share this tab now. Ephesians 6 and 11. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yashai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay? Verse 13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yashai, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High. Okay? And this is just the name and the truth, man. And be immersed in it. And then you can feel the protection of Yahweh Bashim Yashai. And only the hopeful elect are going to feel that. All right? So the elect have nothing to worry about. Okay? Because they're really pushing a world very, robots, robotoid dogs, AI powered animals, you know, men and women not linking up no more. Romance is dead. So they're pushing that very demolition man um, type world, a soulless world, right? Um, Humans not doing the work no more, machinery doing the work, right? Okay. That's why people say love and romance is dead. Okay. The love of many is waxing cold. People don't care no more. It's a very cold world we live in. And this is just another advancement into that cold world before Yahweh Hashem Yashai destroys this place. But this is a good sign because this shows that the Lord is around the corner, which means that when the talk of the CHIP is constantly there, which this also means that it's on the horizon. All right. It's on the horizon and it's very soon they're going to implement it. Okay. All right. Or a lot of people that'll be contemplating getting the chip, they'll say, okay, you know what? Let them sort the flaws out of this password situation. Then maybe I'll think about it. And they are going to. All right. So once the talk is there, the vibration is out there. Yeah.
Imagine losing access to a part of your own body's technology. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi story, right? But this actually happened to a man who etched a microchip into his hand, only to discover he couldn't get back into his own digital world because he forgot the password. And here's where it gets controversial. How safe or practical is it to embed tech directly into our bodies, especially when it can lead to such frustrating situations? Meet Ziteng Wang, a magician and molecular biologist from Missouri, who decided to have a small computer chip implanted in his hand as a playful magic trick. The chip in question was a radio frequency identification (RFID) device, which could be activated when someone, like an audience member, pressed their smartphone equipped with an RFID reader against his hand. Wang shared his quirky adventure on Facebook, posting an X-ray image that revealed the white outline of the tiny chip nestled between his thumb and forefinger. "I'm living my own cyberpunk dystopia right now, locked out of technology inside my body, and it's my own damn fault," Wang wrote, humorously acknowledging his mistake. His story isn't just a funny anecdote, it's a stark warning about the risks of turning ourselves into walking data centers. As biotech companies like Elon Musk's Neuralink aim to introduce brain implants to the public, Wang's experience highlights potential pitfalls. Tech can fail, companies can shut down products, and in the worst case, individuals might just forget their passwords. Initially, Wang's microchip served as a magic prop. If someone wanted to activate his tricks, they'd press their phone with an RFID reader against his hand, which was fun and mysterious, at least from a magician's perspective. However, he soon started experimenting further, programming the chip with a Bitcoin address and linking it to a humorous meme hosted on Imager, the popular image-sharing platform. But as often happens with technology, things took a turn. Several years later, the Imager link no longer worked, and when Wang tried to reprogram the chip, he was stunned to realize he had forgotten the password protecting it. This meant he was essentially locked out of his own embedded device, unable to access the stored information. His tech-savvy friends told him that the only way to unlock the chip was to connect an RFID reader to his hand continuously for days or even weeks, trying all possible combinations through a process called brute force. So, the tiny chip, now a part of his hand, remains in place, locked away with the forgotten access code. Wang humorously notes that at least the Imager link eventually came back online, but he's still locked out of his own body's digital interface. It's an inconvenient situation, yet it offers a light-hearted perspective on a serious subject. This isn't an isolated
And you can't just pull them out, okay? One company that I made a video on said that you can just pull it out because they were hipping their employees. You can't just pull it out, okay? Because if it's in your body for a couple of even couple of weeks or a couple of months, your nerve endings and all your other little bits and pieces, your internal organs will start sort of like wiring. I'm not a physician, so I might not use the correct terms. All your wiring, your human wiring, will start wrapping itself around that technology. You can't just pull it out. You do, you'll bust a blood vessel. You'll probably just die, right? Okay. And if this, what's his guy's name? Seng Wong, whatever. This Mobite. Why don't he just pull it out? Say, okay, you know what? It's been short time, and I don't know my password. Let me just quickly go back to the my physician, doctor, or whatever, and have this pulled out. It's not working for me. Okay, so far that story hasn't arisen. Okay.
Incident. Back in 2018, Daniel Oberhaus, a former writer for Vice, recounted how he impulsively implanted NFC, near-field communication, chip into his hand while intoxicated. Like Juan, he forgot the passcode and called himself the world's most useless cyborg. Thankfully, Oberhaus eventually regained control of his chip after hours spent searching through tech catalogs and documents, an ordeal that underscores the importance of sobriety and caution when tampering with personal implants. So, what's the broad takeaway? As more companies, including British firms, start using microchips to embed into employees' hands for access or convenience, questions about security, privacy, and reliability are hotter than ever. Should we dismiss these stories as amusing mishaps or see them as harbingers of a future where losing your password is just as catastrophic as losing your keys? Are we ready to fully embrace technology deeply integrated into our bodies, or do stories like Wang's serve as cautionary tales about rushing into biohacking without fully understanding the consequences? Share your thoughts. Do you agree or see this as a dangerous trend?
Okay, so the guy's name was Z Teng Wong. Okay, and they also talked about another guy as well, Daniel something. All right, and another person in 2018 who had the same sort of situation happened to him, forgetting his password. But then I've Googled here, right? I haven't used ChatGPT. All right. It says here, if you have I just typed in, if people have RFID chips in their hand, how can they forget? How can they not forget their password? It says here, AI overview. People cannot forget their password when using RFID chips in their hands because there usually isn't a traditional password to remember. The RFID chip itself acts as the identification credential. Okay, how this here is how it typically works. No memorization needed. Okay, instead of typing a password or PIN, the person simply waves their hand. All right. The key is a chip. The chip functions more like a digital key, a tap to pay credit card, or an ID badge than a protected account that requires a secret phrase. System verification. The reader receives a unique ID and checks it against a secure database to confirm the user's identity or authorization level, granting door access, for example, or logging into a system. All right. There's a little summary there. What's this? Our password's obsolete. There's a lot of information here. Some cool information here to read. Now, I also typed in, picking the brain, the demonic brain of Google or AI overview. Um, I typed in, if an RFID CHIP embedded in your hand or your forehead, shouldn't your hand or your forehead remember the password or the system? I don't know. I just said basically, shouldn't that be the password um, just be known? Because the RFID chip itself is the access, right? So you shouldn't have to remember it. Okay. So like as mentioned, it's reverse psychology. Okay. They're playing devil's advocate. Okay. They're going to scrutinize it and also give you the problem, the reaction, and the solution. Okay. But the fact of the matter is can't present it all in a hunky-dory perfect way. The same with a Tesla. But people are still buying the Tesla even though with all the flaws, right? So how much more when all society fails and this is the only way to access goods and services and pay bills and keep a roof over your head? All right. You're tucked away in your yard, your house, right? Snow falling and shit, rain. You look at people that are homeless, you think, and a lot of people that are out there in the world will not be able to bear, uh, being homeless. So a lot of people will take the chip, man. All right. Feeding themselves, especially the heathen, because this is their world. All right. So when there's talk of it, that means it's around the corner. All right. And along with that, Yahweh Shem Yashai is around the corner. Yahweh Shai is coming. All right. All right, technology versus the biology. RFID chips do not store passwords to be remembered by the brain. An RFID chip is a passive data storage and transmission device. It is essentially a tiny low power microchip with an antenna. It does not interface with the central nervous system or the brain's memory functions. Embedding a chip in your hand is physically akin to attaching a small external USB stick to a bone and placing it under the skin. The chip sits near you, not within your biological memory system. Okay, so I'm not a techie. I'm just going by with the information, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yashai, it just goes to show how this devil works. They're not going to present it as a sunny picture. Okay, they're going to present a lot of positives, and they're going to present the odd flaws. Okay, and all in all, the people will be still curious. Okay, the same way the curiosity of heathens and the so-called white man and dumbasses out there go near a lion that's hungry, saying, "Hello, kitty, kitty, kitty," and the lion eats their ass. The same way they go mountain climbing thousands of feet up in the air with no harness or no protection or no other ropes holding them. They just want to do, I don't know what they call it, abseiling or something. They want to do that, and then they fall to their death. Okay, the same way people jump out of airplanes and do skydiving, and people will do the same thing with a chip. It's just the vibration is out there, and they're going to push it heavy. All right. So let's go to Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And if you go to the blue letter, the word mark is charagma, which is incision or etching or piercing into the flesh. Okay. And by the way, the powers that be change words and definitions all the time in dictionaries and in Bibles all the time to sort of take away the blatancy, if that's a word, so it doesn't look so transparent. Oh yeah, that means the mark, you know. But a lot of our elders, prophets and elders and apostles have got older books and caught this information before Esau changed it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yashai. All right. So this is affecting everyone, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Okay, your regular folk, your famous folk, your rich folk, your poor folk. Okay, you're free and bond. You know, people are walking around, people that are on lockdown, they'll take it. All right, especially people that are on lockdown. Just imagine saying to a Jake or any person, "Oh, you're doing 40 years right now. You take the chip, okay, and we can knock off 15 years off your sentence, and you'll be out by so and so date." People run to that chant. People run up and say, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it." Just to walk on the streets and pound the pavement again and eat a burger and fries and get a taste, and also deal with a woman again. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash, Moathabad Babal, Kwam Yashrala. Okay, the chip is coming. All right. We don't have long left, Lord willing.